I love the startup business because you're always getting amazing ideas that could sound crazy at the beginning, and then you end up having a real product that the big industries sometimes don't really get.
You're listening to the Drone Radio Show podcast, the show about drones and the people who use them for business, fun, and research. Hosted by Randy Goers.
Hello, everyone. This is Randy Goers, and welcome to the Drone Radio Show podcast, episode 97. How do opportunities in Europe for drone technology compare to those in the United States? For that question, we go to Heriberto Saldivar, the Technical Director for the Reimagine Drone Program, an accelerator for drone startups organized by Brinc and Incubio. Harry is here to talk about current trends in the European drone market and how they compare to the U.S. market. We'll also learn about the finalists of the Reimagine Drone Accelerator and how those companies fit into the European drone market. But before we hear from Harry, I want to share with you an exciting event that will be taking place in Europe this summer. The leading commercial drone event in North America will host the first ever Commercial UAV Expo Europe in Brussels from June 20th to June 22nd. Professionals from across Europe will converge in Brussels for 3 days of education, information, networking, and a huge exhibit floor of industrial-grade UAS. If you're interested in entering or expanding business in Europe, then you want to go to the Commercial UAV Expo Europe in Brussels on June 20th to June 22nd. For more information, go to expouav.com/Europe. So let's get a little background on what's happening in Europe. Let's pick up today's interview where I asked Harry to introduce himself.
My name is Heriberto Saldivar. I am the technical head of the Reimagine Drone Program, that it's an accelerator for drone startups.
Harry, tell us, what is the Reimagine Drone Accelerator?
Reimagine Drone started as an idea between Incubio and Brinc. We're two different accelerators. Brinc is focusing on hardware. We have a lot of strength and knowledge regarding to hardware and manufacturing. The other part is Incubio, that is focused on big data. And we each other saw the opportunity that drones present themselves. So with that in mind, they were trying to find a good agreement to get it. And they also hire me. I'm an aerospace engineer. And with that in mind and all the knowledge that we get from many mentors that we've been collecting, we've been setting up a program to help startups who want to develop the usage of drones but as a service. We don't believe that the future of drones are in videography or photography. That's a given. What we want is how we can use this into the ecosystem, because drones are just flying computers with a camera, so you get a lot of great opportunities to use it on and foster the potential that they can give you.
I imagine that being based in Barcelona, you have an awareness of the European drone market. What can you tell us about the drone industry in Europe?
I think that it's important to know that drones in Europe are a little bit different to what people generally think of drones in America, especially because as far as I know, in America, a lot of drones, the word is related to military. And here in Europe, it's a little bit more lax, it's more easygoing, and we get a lot of usages for commercial drones. I think it's important to know that Pix4D, Delta Tech, Swiss Drones, Parrot, they're European companies and they're strong in the game. It's interesting how the evolution of the same technology went into different branches regarding to what it's Europe, America, and Asia. I'm also like Brinc is based in Hong Kong and we get DJI next to us, and it's like another different approach that we get. In Asia, drones are a little bit more like toys and photography and selfie sticks. A lot of people are getting just the drones to take photos of themselves in their parties, and it's interesting how the differentiation. So we think that Europe has a really interesting usage for drones in the industry.
Can you tell us which industries in Europe seem to be demanding drones most right now?
There's been a huge interest in drones for agriculture, especially in Italy and Spain and Portugal. Of course, the tropical regions. Then also the areas of search and rescue is also very big, especially in the Nordic regions. Transport is considered not a high priority that one will think, because in the United States you get a lot of show about transport with drones. Here in Europe, it's not that much. I think it's more applications. Some of the startups that we're working on are having interesting talks with, for example, usage of drones in renewable energies, usage of drones in search and rescue. One of our startups is working with the Croatian government because a lot of hikers get lost during their holidays, and that's affected tourism. So they need a solution that can help out with the situation in their countryside.
How does the Brinc and Incubio Accelerator fit into this overall European market that you described?
Europe is great in technologies and developing R&D, but they don't understand many times what it's manufacturing and the hardware part. They had really amazing prototypes, but sometimes there's a missing link with regarding to how to make it mass producible or how to make a product that is going to be reaching the masses, right? So what we're doing in Brinc with our experience in manufacture and development of technologies in China can help these companies to build a bridge for them to go forward. And also at the same time, in Spain, there's a strong ecosystem of software as a service, and there are a lot of programmers here. Our partner Incubio is very strong in big data. Well, if we think about drones, taking photos and analyzing them, that's a huge amount of data. So we think that we can get both sides of the spectrum and work together with the drones. And at the same time, we know that there are a lot of opportunities for drones to go into different fields. So in order to try to achieve the best support for the teams, we have been partnered with different mentors that can help us. We got some mentors that are doing artificial intelligence and neural networks. We got another mentor that is in Singapore, that they're from the Singapore Post Office, that they're developing a system for delivering packages with drones to the outlying islands. We got some mentors that are in the United States that know about the situation of drones and how you can use them for managing and how you can use them for grasping some ideas of the development of a system, right? Because also startups are hard, and a startup as a drone and hardware, it's very big problem. I think we all know that this year has been a little bit harsher for drones because there was a very big hype the few years. And then when the hype falls down into the reality, the startups are starting to struggle there. So our mentors also help us to connect with their investors, with their partners, and help us avoid these other situations for our current startups.
What makes Barcelona special as a drone technology hub?
Well, I think we have three different components. One of them is Barcelona has been pushing themselves to become a smart city. They have an amazing infrastructure set up for Internet of Things and the development of applications that can help and synchronize everything. And drones play a big part of these smart cities, right? You can use the drones later on for other developments. So the government is interested in boosting these drones as a service. So we got a lot of support from them. Actually, one of the buildings where the accelerator is right now, it's a government building that they're lending us, and they're letting us try to arrange it all to becoming also a drone racing ring. So there's a lot of support from the government. This part aside, I think that it's also interesting to show that there are other associations, that it's the Catalonian region has Catalonian drones, that it's a lot of startups that are doing with drones that are strongly connected and helping each other. We got nearby this Barcelona Drone Center, that it's a test size for drones, that it has a segregated airspace, their own airfield, and they have some on-tech facilities in their side. So you can do testing if you want to, and it's without having to worry about regulations or anything that many people are afraid or they don't know how to overcome. Some of their customers is European Space Agency and universities and Pix4D. So they had a lot of experience there that it's also helping out.
What are the research entities that are lending support?
Well, there's the European Space Agency Technology Transfer offices. They get an office here in Barcelona, and they're interested in helping the drone community. There's a very big community in the region called EMAV. They're doing an amazing job using drones for different services. So there's support there. Then we get also some of the universities, University of the Mediterranean. Then we also get, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but Pompidou University here in Barcelona, that they're interested in this development of drones, and they get a lot of students working on it. There's also an interesting community of drone racing pilots. So the community is very alive and it's growing.
You mentioned drone racing is becoming popular and that there's a dedicated drone racing rink in Barcelona?
Yeah, the offices that we got used to be an old dog racing course, when the people used to go to bed for dogs, and now because it's not good for animals, they decided to use this space for something else. Instead of racing dogs, you can race drones. So there's this project going on. Right now, the racing area is not completed. We're working on it. It's a step forward, but we're already having the offices there. We're already setting up a cage for testing the drones. And then later on, we're putting out this ring. The idea is that you can put it on and take it off whenever you get a race. So that can be a permanent site.
Okay, so let's talk about the status of the accelerator. I read that 3 finalists had been selected. Can you talk about them and give us an update on where the competition stands?
Yeah, sure. We end up having a pre-selection with 10 teams. We were having 2 months of online training and also was helping us to do some due diligence and also understanding the needs for the team so we can target the program when we get the 3 finalists to what they really need for development. And it was a very difficult task because the 3 finalists were not so far apart from the other teams. We had a little bit of delay on choosing because we wanted to take them all. Sadly, we couldn't. But at the end, we end up with 3 teams that we thought that represent also the main idea of a drone. So we chose one team that represents, let's say, the body, one that represents the brains, and the other one that represents the soul or the usage of the drone. So in that case, we choose Capiter, that is a Croatian company that is doing vertical takeoff and landing with drones. And they have a patent pending technology that is very ingenious for the propellers, and that will represent the body. We chose Sky Drones. It's a Russian company that is developing smart autopilots. That we, of course, the brains. And then we chose Poladrone, that is a Malaysian company that is monitoring palm oil plantations. All of the 3 teams are working in a very interesting synergy because, as I told you, like we're choosing 3 different aspects of what a drone company can be. And all of them are amazing. The guys from Poladrone are targeting the palm oil plantations. And I don't know if you or the audience knows, but around 50% of the supermarket products have palm oil. And it's a very bad product for the environment. So a lot of plantations are now going into a more sustainable situation. But in order to do that, they have to improve their monitoring and make their plantations more efficient. So with millions of acres of plantations, it's difficult to keep in touch without just a solution from the air. And then many plantations right now, what they're doing is helicopters, or they're just putting people in the jungle and counting by hand. And it takes a lot of money and costs a lot of resources. And what these guys got is like they get a custom algorithm to count the trees, that it's very accurate. They also get a custom library for monitoring the health of the plantations, because as you might know, there are a lot of solutions that can check according to the refraction index of the plants to get the overall health of a plant. But depending of the plant, you get different refraction index. So these guys already have a custom library for that.
Because the companies are coming from 3 different spectrums of the drone industry, are the teams working together on any aspects to make them better?
Yeah, actually, that was something really interesting. They jump right away into cooperation. And of course, we're encouraging them because it's a competition, yes, and at the end, one of the teams is going to get funded. But we're also trying to bring a lot of investors to showcase, because we believe in all of the companies, and all of them end up finding an interesting synergy. So, for example, Poladrone could use the Capiter Beetle, but then Capiter could use Sky Drones as a supplier of their autopilots. We didn't suggest that the teams itself start to talk with each other, and they realize that there have many things in common. So it's also being really nice because you can see the collaboration and the environment. It feels really good to come to the office and see all of them working together. They know that it's a competition, but at the same time, they know that the competition is one thing and the future is much more brighter. And if they work together, it's a much better opportunity for all of them.
Okay, you talked about the vertical liftoff company. What about the one that's the brains of the drone? What are they offering?
Yeah, Skydrones is doing an autopilot, like in the same sense of Pixhawk or DJI's N or A series. They have their own custom solution that it's all made by themselves, the hardware, and they also have the software developed. They have their own mission planner, and they have a simulation, so you can configure it all by yourself. And I'm really proud to say that we've been approached by some people that are interested in it, and then when they change from their other suppliers to these Skydrones, they're very happy about it. When they were having some problems with a DJI microcontroller, that it was not locking the satellites correctly and is giving bad results, they came to Skydrones, and Skydrones helped them out, and they were able to improve the efficiency and the connections, right? So the technology that they get is extremely solid, it's extremely good, and they're already in the 4th version of their product. So it's a really good product that they're putting forward. They're using not just GPS, but they're also using GLONASS, the Russian GPS, and they're also using the Chinese version of GPS, but they're going to be updating it as a firmware later this quarter. They also have other technologies that work very good for positioning. So they say that they can get with an extra technology and a positioning up to 10 centimeters with an autopilot and a base add-on. So for example, it can help out for recharge stations, or it can work also for landing. It's like, for example, if you wanted to land in a specific area, like a floating barge, like thinking about some options offshore that they want to use monitoring with drones, that can work out very good.
And the final company is the search and rescue company?
That is Capeter. They're doing a vertical takeoff and landing drone. They have a patent pending for their system, the way they fold the propellers and the way they do the transition. As you may know, the transition part is very tricky when you're dealing with a vertical takeoff and landing. So they have done a proof of technology that works really good. They got a patent pending. And now they already got the reply from the reviewers of the patent saying it's good, it's going to go forward. They just have to fill up some little details about it. So we're very happy about that. And they are aiming for usage in different locations. And what I said about search and rescue is because the Croatian government, as I said, that is losing sometimes tourists that go hiking and then they get lost. They need something quick deployment of search and rescue missions, right? Capeter, because of the region in Croatia that the mountains are not allowing to have a normal fixed wing drone. And of course, we know that quadricopters are very limited with regarding to battery and range. This is a perfect solution, and the government is extremely excited about this situation.
So what's next for the teams and the competition?
As for the teams on the program, we're going to have meetings with the mentors. We're trying to do one every 2 weeks. At the same time, we're giving them some training on regarding to the manufacturing, business plans, pitching, so everything that we can to make them be able to present to investors and get a bigger network so they can get clients, right? We're going to bring them to China because if they want to do, for example, the microcontrollers or the airframe, we need manufacturer. We want to bring them to China and we want to show them how the manufacturing goes in big scale, how manufacturing works in certain situations. And we want them to think in manufacturing terms. It's different to develop a nice prototype than when you go directly into manufacturing. So it's part of what they were training the teams to do. So we have learned from our experience that just having a nice prototype doesn't mean anything if you don't know how to transform it into a viable product. So that's part of what we're trying to put into their minds.
You know, that's a great point because it's not uncommon for Kickstarter projects to get through their funding stage only to struggle when they have to mass market the products.
Exactly. So that's part of the strength that Brinc is bringing to the table. We don't want that. Beside what we're doing with drones, other of our products, we don't let them do into a Kickstarter unless they are fully aware and fully capable of giving results back to their backers, right? So that's something that we are very eager. If you're a startup and you want to go just to China because you can, no, that's not how it works. You have to plan a lot. These bad stories of China generally come because of lack of planning.
You were talking about the next steps before I got us sidetracked.
Yeah, sure. So another one is we're going to do a demo day on May 31st here in Barcelona. So the teams can showcase their product, pitch to investors. And at the same time, we're trying to get them as many possible opportunities for pitching as they can. After the demo day, what we want to do is bring the teams to different opportunities. We want to bring them to an event that is going to be in Berlin where they can have the possibility to pitch and they could be earning up to $1 million if they manage to pitch it correctly. So what we want to do with the teams is give them as much opportunities as they can so they can convince the investors. And at the same time, increasing the network, we are constantly searching for mentors that they think that they can help us and they want to help the startups. So we are happy to have them on board. And as for the extra steps, when they graduate from this part, they belong to our family, Brinc and Incubio and Reimagine Drone family, and they always have the doors open when they want some feedback, they want some support into certain points, because we know that as they go along, sometimes they might need a little bit of correction on their track. So that's something they're always going to be able to have with us.
Is there anything about the accelerator or the competition that we missed?
I think that it's important to know that it's amazing the amount of brilliant minds there are in the drone ecosystem. We were not aware and we were not expecting as many applications as we get. And then when we see the solutions that they're working on and all the ideas they get, we see that it's an industry that is going to just keep growing and expanding. So we're extremely happy about it. And not just that, we see also there's a lot of interest of industries into adopting drones. So we're really happy about what we have learned, and we plan to, as we go forward, go into different directions that could also benefit the startups and the environment.
Now you're talking to us from the drone show in Barcelona, which we can pick up in the background. This show was the first exhibition and congress of drones in the region and showcases groundbreaking innovations in drone technology. Can you tell us about it and offer your insights into what you think might be of interest?
Yeah, sure. First of all, the drone show, it's a surprise because of the amount of amazing products you can see. We get a lot of interesting agriculture, and I think that it's no doubt that the future is going to be with agriculture with drones, because you can cover huge amounts of area and improve your crop production very fast. Then we also have safety. There are many great ideas regarding the future of drones for search and rescue that I was not aware of. Like there's a drone that is for firefighters. There's another drone that is trying to rescue people from the beach when they're drowning. Well, we get, for example, Capeter, that is when people go missing on a hike. Then we get a little bit more strange ideas that I will never have thought about it. There's a really interesting solution for drones to create this water wall when there are massive fires. So it's interesting to see that technology is moving forward. And also it's important to notice that the Iberian Peninsula region is full of brilliant people. One will not think about Spain or Portugal as a base for drones, but it's great to see that they get great engineers, they get people with a lot of imagination, and they know how to tackle problems.
From what you can see, is the show a regional event or a European show?
I would consider Southern European show. Well, we got a Malaysian team there, so maybe we can call it globally. But that's the team that is the farther from here. Generally, all of the startups are from Europe.
And is it primarily startups on display, or are there a lot of established companies there as well?
We get both. We get a lot of established companies, and we get a lot of startups. Actually, there's a pitching for the startups tomorrow. And one of our startups has been selected to pitch off. So we're really happy about that.
What lessons have you learned out of the accelerator process that you feel would be of value to other entrepreneurs in the drone industry?
Well, I think that it's important to know that the future of drones is commercial. I think this year we saw in CES that there are a lot of people trying to do drones for just personal use, and we don't see that as a trend that is going to keep forward. We think that sometimes drones could be useful for many things, but they're not the solution for everything. And a lot of hype is coming out from people who want to use drones for applications that don't really require a drone. So if you think that a drone is required, go forward. If you just want to do it because you think that a drone is a good idea and you haven't made a complete analysis of the market and the needs, don't do it. It's a harsh environment because, as I said before, drones had a hype cycle that right now it's tearing a little bit down. So unless you can prove what you're doing is working, that the technology is viable and there's a market need, then it's okay. But if you cannot do that, I will consider you maybe jump into another direction. Drones as a hardware are difficult. And unless you have a amazing tech like a patent or a way of revolutionize the situation of drones, I think you should focus on using hardware that is already out there and try to improve on the service and the idea that you can use for the market.
And a question directed to you personally, Harry. Why do you do what you do? What drives your passion for working with young startup companies?
I got a master and a PhD in aerodynamics, and I've been in academia, and I try to go and see how the situation in the big industries are, but I love the startup business because you're always getting amazing ideas that could sound crazy at the beginning, and then you end up having a real product that the big industries sometimes don't really get. So my job is every day seeing new products, new ideas, developing new technologies that can change the world. And many times they do. Of course, I'm not designing the next space shuttle or creating a new plane, but I'm creating products that it's going to be helping a lot of people. For example, the guys of Capeter, there's a lot of future there, and I'm happy to be part of it. And who knows, maybe I'm just helping out the next Apple.
As we wrap up, Harry, do you have any final comments?
Well, I just want to let you know that we're still thinking about the second batch. We haven't get all the details ready, but we're trying to figure out a way of involve all the learnings we have had and focusing what is important. We have learned a lot of lessons with this program, not just our startups, but we are also learning. And I invite everybody who is in Barcelona to come to visit us. On May 31st, we get the demo day. You can also come. Keep your eyes on the website because by middle of May, we're going to get more details for applications for the next batches.
That's it for episode 97 of the Drone Radio Show. I hope you enjoyed hearing from Harry Saldivar of the Reimagine Drone program and learning about opportunities in Europe and the finalists of the Accelerator. I want to thank Harry for taking the time to talk with us. If you want to learn more about the Reimagine Drone program or want to connect with Harry, check out the website at reimaginedrone.com. If you like the Drone Radio Show, please consider supporting the show with a small donation. The content is always free, but for as little as $1 per month, you can help defray the cost of production. To donate, go to patreon.com and search for Drone Radio Show. Thanks for listening. Your interest in the show means a lot to me, and I hope you'll listen to more episodes of the Drone Radio Show to hear how others are using drones for business, fun, and research. For the Drone Radio Show, I'm Randy Gores.
This has been the Drone Radio Show podcast. More information on today's show can be found on our website at www.droneradioshow.com. If you're using drone technology for business, fun, or research and would like to share your experience on the show, please visit our website and fill out a guest appearance application. And don't forget to follow us on your favorite social media channels.